Rob and Slim Show, we are back. Brian.
Hi, guys.
Brian Brawdy, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
Really good, really good. We love having you on. You do a show, All Natural Being and IPM Nation Sneak Speak on IPM Nation.
I know. I'm very lucky. I got to. I'm very lucky.
I'm also surprised too, because All Natural Being, it's a smart show. It's not like us. Like I love how much we get along and stuff. It's been great. It's been great, dude.
Well, I have to tell you, brother. One of the things that, and I tell Matt this all the time, that I've learned so much from you and listening and the like. Because Rob, I come downstairs, a half hour before, and I go, great. What am I going to riff about? What's the ad lib? What's it going to be? This or that. But what I've learned from you is, like, I actually have pre-production sheets now where I go, all right, here's what we're doing this segment. Here's what we're doing that segment.
That's
Here's
awesome.
We're going to open up for calls.
Yeah,
so you have taught me so much.
That's amazing.
I'm just forever in your debt.
Wow, that's so cool. So cool, Brian. How long have you been doing All Natural Being?
Well, it's this morning, I think, was the 427th episode. So I'm thinking, Rob, probably a couple, 3 years, but it was I was somewhat interrupted by some of the medical hurdles that I've had over the last couple of years.
Dude, when you
427, so a lot of shows.
That's amazing. And how many days a week do you do that? Is it every day?
5 days a week.
Okay. Wow.
5 days a week.
Very cool. And then when you told me that story when we talked, if we could talk about it again, you had got a brain tumor, right, Brian?
Yeah, a brain tumor. I was out and about running one day and ran 15 miles in a personal record for me. And so as one would, right, guys, you would, when you're done with an event like that, you buy yourself a cannoli. So I went to the baker and I had them make me like a real cannoli, right? Like not a store-bought one, but a real cannoli.
Yeah. Either way, cannoli is good.
As one would, right? You go, no, a little more pistachio there. Don't make me come behind the counter. A little more. And I went to eat it, guys, and I couldn't taste it. So I was like, well, that just sucks. I like $8 for one of these handmade cannolis.
And you want to taste that goddamn cannoli. Yes.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's going to pay $8. It's not like I went to Meijer and bought a couple of frozen ones.
Yeah.
So, right, you're like, hey, I want to taste this cannoli. So I later went to call my doctor and I said, look, I couldn't taste the cannoli. He goes, well, there's nothing wrong with you. You're like a model of human health, but just for the hell of it, why don't you come in and we'll do an MRI. So in the MRI machine for like 90 minutes. They pull me out, and the nurse hands me a phone. And I'm like, how can I not get 90 minutes to myself? You're telling me that someone's already found me.
They've been calling
and she goes, yeah, you want to take this call. And it was my doctor, and he said, Bri, you got to come in. And I'm like, yeah, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not coming in. You know what traffic's like between here and there? And he goes, no, you really better come in. And I go, what's up? How about I just come tomorrow? You can tell me then. He goes, hey, Brad, we found a brain tumor. It's the size of a golf ball, and they're prepping for your surgery right now. So, Rob, I think what little I know about you, you'd be proud of me. Of course, as one would, I went home, opened a beer, and, it was a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Like I tell you, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I opened the beer and called my wife and my kids and my accountant and my attorney and said, yeah, well, here's the scoop, Mr. Can run a country mile in like 3 minutes, ends up schlepping a brain tumor around. And the weird thing, guys, was I'd had this tumor for 30 years.
Wow. I don't like
I know, right?
Yeah. Anything with the head. I don't know why. That just freaks me out. It freaks me out. I had a buddy too, not that long ago, maybe a year or so ago. His eye started hurting at work one day, and it actually was sticking out a bit. And it was just too late. He had a tumor behind it, and he wasn't around long, man. It's like, oh,
no, I'm
man.
sorry to hear that.
I'm so glad you're still rocking, though, man.
So now, I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky because of all the things that could have happened. Even this afternoon, I was over at my neurosurgeon's, and you sit in the waiting room, right? And they usually take me pretty quickly when I get there. But you sit in the waiting room and you see guys, people that can't walk, they can't talk, they can't. There's all kinds of things. So I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
You said 30 years it grew?
Golf ball-sized brain tumor.
30 years it grew for? Wow. Oh my god.
So I want to know.
I had it back when I was a cop, apparently. Wow. And it grew with me all this time. And right here I am talking about all natural being and using your mind to its fullest and blah 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 blah. It's not like I had a heart attack, not like I had bad hips. The one thing that I get on the radio and brag about
it's major,
is the one thing that sold me out.
So now
I'm
curious, as you find out you've had this brain tumor growing in your brain for 30 years, do you start like looking back on things and you're like, oh, that explains why that happened, or why?
You can blame a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I blame a lot of bad things I did. I'd be like, yeah, that was that.
Yeah. Well, guys, just between us, I use that excuse all the time, right? So when people say, "Did you just do that?" I go, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Right? So because right after the surgery, I've had 4 brain surgeries now in the last couple of years, and the freakiest thing was I've had 3 bouts of amnesia where I literally sit in a room and people come up and go, "How are you?" And I go, "Who are you?
Wow.
Where am I? What am I doing?" So I had this little bracelet that has my name, my phone number, has no morphine, blah, 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 and my wife's name and number, because a part of the 4 brain surgeries is that I get from time to time what's called transglobal amnesia, where I'll be at a Jimmy John's having a sub. I'll forget who I am.
It could just happen.
So,
wow.
It could just happen. You just never know. It's the human brain, right? It's the seed of reason.
It's incredible, though.
The ironies.
That you can still go on, though, and that you're still functioning. It's just wow. It is. It's miraculous.
You saying
Rob, I'm very, very lucky.
You saying that you had this information on the bracelet just makes me think of, you ever see that movie Memento? I think it was called, where that guy had all these tattoos to remind him of what happened when he forgot things.
That's extreme. That's extreme.
Like, he should have just got a bracelet.
That's typical. Yeah, and you know what's odd? To be honest, I have 2 sleeves full of tattoos. I'm covered in tattoos. But that's interesting. I should have the bracelet tattoos at the end of one of the sleeves. And that's what I'll do from now on. As a matter of fact, I'm calling as soon as I hang up, and I'm going to get my tattoo guys together, and I'm going to put my bracelet on. That's a great idea.
How long were you a police officer?
As soon as I do that, my wife will divorce me, so her name won't be all that important. But I think the general sense of the bracelet would be a good gig. Thank you for that.
How long were you?
More than I'm learning from you guys.
Brian, how long were you a police officer for?
Let's see. I started in 83 as a young guy, and I made it to 89, so about 6 years.
As a New York City?
Before I left and decided I was going to move to Los Angeles and live under the dock on the beach in Venice, right? Like everyone would do.
What was the craziest thing you saw as a cop?
I'll probably answer it this way. I don't know if I have the same attitude now as I did back then. So back then, probably some of the craziest stuff dealt with drugs and people under the influence of alcohol and everything else. But when I got into it, Rob, I didn't get into it to write speeding tickets and make DUI arrests. So I got into it at the time of my life thinking that I was really going to go after bad guys. So I love working robberies and rapes and homicide and anything that I could that I consider to be a real crime, because to be honest, you go out with the guys at the end of the night, you have a beer or 2, you drink and drive.
Yes.
So you know what I mean? I never felt congruent doing vehicle and traffic law.
I had a friend who
is what I'm saying.
I think he was in his last year of college to I think be a judge, and he just dropped out. He's like, I smoke weed. I can't send people to jail for smoking weed, for getting busted with weed.
It's just not congruent, right, guys? It's not honorable. So that's probably some of the wildest things, is that it still amazes me what people do when they've had too much to drink, and so That's probably some of the wildest memories I have.
Yeah.
So somebody who used to be a cop, I'm curious if you could shed some light on a situation that we deal with. Have you seen a picture of our third Mike, the Lamborghini?
Oh.
Yes. Since the first time I met Rob, I have.
He gets pulled over frequently.
I do.
Yeah, cops
I really
pick
do.
on him like.
And it kind of seems like they are picking on him. Like, what advice can you give
My
him?
dad was a cop too.
Yeah.
Or I was almost curious of looking at Lamborghini. Like, what do you think about him? Like, what, if you were a cop, like, why would you stop him?
Would you shake him down?
Well, I have to tell you that maybe they're a lot braver today than I was, but I wouldn't want to make eye contact with him.
I don't. The whole show, I don't even look over at him, Brian.
Yeah, but I'd be like, well, I don't want to stop that guy. That's like 18 hours of paperwork. There'll be like a grand jury.
There'll be cavity searches.
That he's just like daydreaming about. Yeah, he'd be like the guy that I would drive up to at a red light with blinders on going, boy, I hope he doesn't look over and make me out.
Just move along.
I hope, because it's Friday night, I want to get out and join my friends at the bar.
I want to live. I want to keep living. I'm not messing with this guy.
Yeah, that's what it is. I just, please, just don't commit a felony right in front of me. It's a short 3-minute red light. Just let me get through and get on my way before you start your stuff. That's what I would say.
I have to ask Brian.
You know I'm teasing. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's got a heart of gold. I want to ask you, Brian, what is 81 to win?
81 to win. So here's the thing, right? It's my cry for help. And, after 4 surgeries now and all the scars, and I was joking with a group of friends that I have more head scars now than most Vikings. So I decided to come up with this tagline that I have a face for radio. Now, in fairness, I used to make my living as a television guy, right? So I went from being a cop to being a bouncer on a bar in Venice Beach in California to, lo and behold, a television reporter in Chicago. Wow. So after I went through all these surgeries, Rob, I was like, all right, I have a face for radio. And I decided one day that I wanted to learn how to do this radio thing, right? So I got boards and I got calls, like everything you guys know. Like, I got to come and hang out with you so you can teach me how to do this. It's fascinating.
Slim is a wizard.
I called in and Slim goes, we're in a commercial break. Can you hold for a minute? And I'm like, I got to learn how to do that. So I'll be really quick with it. But the story was, so one day I'm out driving, and there was like a herd of people, 10, 15, 20 of them, running across the street in front of me. So I watch them all dance across the street, and I go, yeah, go ahead. And they all ran to this local radio station called 103 The River here in Columbus, Ohio, where I live. And when I looked back over, they were all running to this radio station. So I thought, perfect. I made a U-turn, drove back in, got to the radio station, and met with the station and said to the lady at the front desk, I'd like to meet the station manager. So station manager comes down. I said, hey, I'm new to this radio thing. I would love to volunteer. I'm no good working cars, so don't put me in the motor pool. But, I could be a janitor. I could empty trash. I could raise the flag every day. There's got to be something I can do so that I can learn what you all are doing. And, right, I'll barter you. I'll trade you sweat equity.
I love it.
And the guy, and I really, I tried to write an email and really comical and everything else. Well, it turns out, and I think this is why I kind of at times have a slam on for a Christian radio stations. Apparently they decided that it was kumbaya for everybody but me because they didn't give me the gig.
You're offering.
I thought, I'm offering.
I just want to learn. Just want to learn.
Yeah. I just want to learn. I want to learn. Like when I call and Slim goes, we're in break. Can you hold on for a minute?
You want to
I want to learn how to do that. I'm break. I'm the one answering the phone. Right? I'm doing it also. I just wanted to learn. But no, Christian radio station was like, geez, no thanks. And I go, you understand I'm volunteering to do this for free.
Yeah.
Extra hand.
Yeah,
I'll do something nobody wants to do.
Yeah. So that's how I got into it, right?
Yeah.
And I decided to call Guinness just to stick it to 103.5 The River here in Columbus, Ohio, in case you have any listeners. 103.5 The River. So I decided I was going to stick it to him. You're not going to give me a job entering garbage cans. I'm going to get the world's record for the longest call-in radio show. So I called Guinness World Records. And they go, are you nuts? And I go, that's a different conversation. But what I want to do is go after the world record. And the first 2 times, Slim, they said no. They said, no, you can't do it. And I go, finally, why? And they go, you have to be attached to a terrestrial radio station. So I sent them pictures of everything I did to build out my basement. All kinds of equipment. I don't even know how to pronounce it, let alone use it. And lo and behold, Rob, they called back and said, you're going to be the first person ever that isn't attached to a terrestrial radio station to get to go for the world's record of the longest call-in radio talk show. And I got to go for 81 hours straight to win the world's record, and we're going to do it the first week in June. So I know that's a long answer, Rob. Sorry, but that's 81 to win. Just to stick it to 103.5 The River. Just to stick it to 103.5 The River here in Columbus, Ohio.
81 hours straight.
81 hours.
Crazy,
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it could be the shunt talking. But yes, crazy is probably a fair. But here's the thing. You know what it is, Rob? Is that every 20 hours I get a 90-minute break. So I'm going to pull like a little cot here into the studio. I'll go 20 hours, sleep for 90 minutes, get up, go for another 20 hours, sleep for 90, right? So I've got some things built into it to guarantee that I can win. But it's going to be the first week in January. Hopefully you guys can call in and hang out.
I would love it.
I've done one 24-hour marathon, which was a breeze at like 23 hours. I was like, I can't believe there's only an hour to go. But, yeah, Guinness gave me a shot at the official attempt.
Dude, I'm saying
at
you
a world
got
record.
it. I'm saying you got it,
So
bro.
now I'm curious, though, like, what happens if, God forbid, but at 81 hours nobody calls in? Are you not considered a call-in radio show and then you don't get that?
Oh, Slim, you would be stunned at the rules that I have to jump through. I can't have pre-recorded anything.
Anything.
I
Wow.
can't. Anything. It's
Even like an
unbelievable.
intro?
I'll send you guys a copy of the rules. It's unbelievable. Like, if Slim, if you call in and I ask you a question, I cannot let you answer for more than 90 seconds.
That's rude.
I think so. Well, because I have Slim call in and I'd go, hey, just for the hell of it, could you explain quantum physics to us? And then I'd go sleep for 4 hours. So, right?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You let Slim talk about that, and you just like fuck off and like take a nap.
Take a dump, get a cannoli, whatever I want to do. So no, Guinness is on it.
They want to.
And you're on.
They're monitoring you.
And I'm. Yep. They want to monitor. I'm on Facebook Live, and I think on Twitter and YouTube. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, they'll be able to tune in and make sure that I'm not letting you, Rob, go, oh, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, right? The answers are limited to 90 seconds.
Yeah.
I go, man, this world record thing, it's a bit more than I bargained
So
for.
do they give you a number of calls you have to take?
No, sir. I
Oh,
can
okay.
take calls, or I can just pontificate. I guess it's like a filibuster on the floor of the House. You can just ramble on, but they said, no, when you get calls. So what I did, Slim, for the 24-hour one, was every 30 minutes, I was able to, I don't know how I did it, but I was able to find 48 friends. So every 30 minutes, one of the 48 would call in, and that got me through the 24 hours. So that's what I'm going to have to do is kind of like rely, hopefully you guys will call in. I'll get other people to call in. We're going after social media. We're going after sports figures and this and that and going, hey, you want to hook up a guy with a brain tumor, help him out, win a world record? That kind of like Sally Struthers back in the day going, don't you want to feed these poor starving kids? I'm going to start a whole campaign, right? And it's like, look, don't you want to help a guy with a brain tumor? What the hell is wrong with you?
Right.
So that's my plan.
You got to guilt them.
Goal, right?
You guilt them.
Yeah.
So I do have...
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm Irish, right? I get that.
Brian, I have one more question that's just been bugging me ever since you talked about that cannoli. Have you ever eaten another cannoli?
Ooh.
I have. It's a great question. And unfortunately, when they had to carve out the tumor, I know you guys are going to laugh, but they took a good bit of the nerves that run to my tongue.
Oh, no!
Now, yeah. So when you guys have
Can't
me
they
in the
put new
studio
ones
and go,
in?
oh, shit, in the green room, what should we give Brian? I'd lead with styrofoam packaging peanuts because I can't taste anything.
I'd want new shit put in. I'd want new
I got
nerves.
plastic fruit. I mean, I can taste Johnny Walker Blue Label, right? I'm not a heathen. I can still taste Johnny Walker Blue Label. But yeah, some really hot, spicy foods. Someone called in the other day and they said, "Oh, we see incense burning. Are you a fan of incense?" And I said, "No, I'm just a fan of Mexican food.
It's the only thing I can
stand down here
taste."
for an hour. I need the smell of incense to kill that. But yeah, I can't taste anything. So, right,
Wow.
like I said, styrofoam packaging peanuts, and yeah, my tongue is totally numb. Which, when you think about it, is odd. And again, guys, I go back to it. I'm really lucky. It hasn't affected my speech, right?
Yes.
Like, I really don't want to make fun of people that have had brain tumors because there are a lot of people a lot worse off than I am.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
been a
You're very
challenge. Yes,
fortunate.
it's all those other things. But I could have been, right? I could have been a lot worse off. So I'm very grateful for, I'm very grateful for how it turned out.
Yes. I want to ask real quick too, Brian. We're running out of time, but
Sure.
IPM Nation Sneak Speak. You do that with Matt. How did you guys come up with that?
Hey.
It's such a great platform.
You know what? Oh, thank you, brother. This is another thing, Rob. Well, Matt will go, I can't believe you said that out loud to these guys. It just got really hard that I was like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And I'd call Matt all the time and go, can you help me? I want to get better at radio. I want to understand what all this means. And he goes, I got just the guy you need to talk to. And you were one of the guys that he put on the short list. So I said, well, you know what would be cool, Matt? What if we had a show every week that highlighted all the cool stuff going on IPM Nation so that people that may not know about all the different programming, all the diverse backgrounds, that we could do it. And that was the beginning of it, was me going, hey, Matt, you know what if we get on and I'd like to interview some real radio people.
It's a great showcase.
People
it's
that really
such
know
great.
what is going on, because I know nothing.
I don't know
how
if
it
you
started.
reached out to him, but I want to recommend Alan Clark. Him and his buddy Juan, they do Potential Problems. They're pretty new to IPM, but they're great guys as well.
And can I ask you, I got a follow today on, I think it's called Instagram. I got a follow today from 11 at 11, or they retweeted that I was going to be on your show, and it was on Twitter, I guess.
I don't know.
And it's 11, but they're like an audio production company. Like, if you guys could see me with Audacity and all these other things, and I'm trying to learn how to edit audio and everything else, Rob, that's when I first talked to you and you were telling me about your show and you told me about the guys and everything else, that I was like, man, I got to learn from them, because there's just so much I don't know, right? I turn on a microphone, and I know it's hard for you all to believe that I can steal a microphone, but I just turn on a microphone and riff for 30 minutes. So I'll take Alan Clark, 11, anyone else that you can think of. You go, Bri, here's a good place to start to learn. That's what I love about your show. And I even want the way you guys did it today, teasing who's coming on. You put everybody in Twitter. Everyone shared it around. You know how many times I've done that? Zero. So today,
I've been told I'm genius too for that, because I wait till the day of. I've heard other podcasters learn that the hard way, because they've teased guests they've had on in advance, and then 5 other podcasts before them have had that guy on. So I always wait till the morning of the live show to say, this is my guest list.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I love it. So I go in now and I watch your shows and I go, okay, what did he do on Twitter? What is going on over here? What's going on over there? Right? So you should have like all these knobs on the internet that have master classes and this and that and everything else. You guys should have a master class. Yeah. I'll sign up. And then once you teach me all the stuff you know, I'll be able to brag about you and we'll make millions. People going, hey, you ever want to have a radio show? Well, so did I. And I went to Robin Slim's master class, and they taught me how to do it. That's my plan.
Slambo, you got to have a class, of course, where you guys got guys in bathtubs and you're just smearing things on them. Like, that's your section, bro.
No.
Brian, we have to wrap this up, dude.
I'd love a part. Okay, let me just say this real quick before you go. I'd love a part of the class to be how, right? Like you could say how to act a certain way. So when you pull up alongside of a patrol car, they want to look away from you. See?
Swiper doesn't know.
It's like health class.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
grooming.
it's an upsell. It's a bonus. If you get in before midnight, we'll throw in this class, how to make patrolmen uncomfortable in their own skin, right? So we could just incentivize it. I know you guys got to go. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
I super appreciate
on,
it. I'm a huge fan of the show.
We love you, dude. You're amazing.
All right,
You're amazing. We'll talk to you
Thanks
soon,
so
brother.
much. All right. Farewell, guys.
See
Bye
you, Brian.
Love you guys. Bye.